Hello, my name is Ruin Leon, and I am here to announce my new gaming channel on YouTube, where I will be playing video games like Modern Warfare and Mario Party and possibly Pokemon, because I want to be a Pokemon master. Would you please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and keep me away from gangs and guns? I mean Twitch.tv, because unlike the people on Twitch.tv, I actually have personality. I don't have to join some random friend group for attention. I don't suck, and I didn't use a dead girl for a PlayStation 5. Please subscribe today. It is 4 o'clock in the morning, and I have just been gifted an article that I'm going to dry read because I want everybody to understand something just from the title alone. When are we going to have the honest conversation that some individuals who like to brag and boast about their bright ideas of being inclusive and taking down the patriarchy, when are we going to acknowledge that some of them don't know what they're doing and that their ideas are dumb and won't actually bring about all this equality that they talk about? It'll just make more people hate them and generalize others who look like them, all because this one person didn't think their idea through. It's not to say you have bad intentions. It's to say your idea is dumb and could have consequences if you act on them. It's not that hard. I don't care if you look at me and I say something you don't like and you call me some ist or ism or phobic or dobic or trobic or bobic, because you don't know how to craft an argument when someone just says, hey, that's a pretty bad idea. But maybe I'm the bad guy. Maybe I don't know anything. Maybe I'm actually white, and that white man who looms in my ass cheeks is coming out more and more every day. Maybe I've forgotten what it means to be a person of color. So today I'm going to show you an example of what it means to be black in society nowadays in the year 2021, because it seems like every single day somebody makes a stupid article like this. It proves my point that we as a society are getting dumber and dumber. How I'm decolonizing the sidewalk by pushing white people into the street. If you're a black person, me, you probably know that white people will not make any room for you when you're walking on the sidewalk, no matter what. In the United States, white supremacy is everywhere, especially the sidewalks. Sure, we focused a lot on decolonizing our minds, but what about decolonizing the pedestrian paths that help us get around our cities? That's why instead of bumping into the sides of buildings or being forced into fire hydrants, I've decided to decolonize the sidewalk by pushing every white person in my path out of my way and into the street. First of all, let's think about that for 1 second. Your bright idea to fight the patriarchy and decolonize people's minds and get them to respect black people is to push only white people out of your way when on the sidewalk. I'm sorry, but white people being on the sidewalk is not exclusive. I've seen black people on the sidewalk taking up space. I've seen Mexicans do it. I've seen Japanese people do it. I've seen all the Asians do it. What makes this such a problem that it's only exclusive to white people? What statistics do you have to show that 9 out of 10 black people don't get the proper respect of being told excuse me when they're walking along the sidewalk? What statistical data do you have for me that allows me to understand that every single white person that I will see when I'm walking along the sidewalk will treat me like I'm lesser than because of my skin, and they will use their broad shoulder and shove me into a fire hydrant? And what grounds, upon any of you could show me, gives you the right to push somebody into the street? First of all, what if you're not paying attention and you push them into a moving car? What if you push them and they trip and they crack their skull? What if somebody is holding a baby and you push them and that baby cracks their skull? Did you think about any of that, my dear, when you drum up this article? Did you think about any of that? Or are you just holding your fist in the air saying fight the power and decolonize people, and your bright idea is to push them into the street thinking that that's going to get more people to like you? But I'm going to keep reading because maybe I don't know enough. I started doing this after a large group of white women who were stopped on the sidewalk wouldn't move even after I said excuse me. Why were they standing still in the middle of the sidewalk in an insanely large group? I still don't know, but instead of squeezing past them like I normally have to, I decided to just push them all into the street. So maybe, I'm not really sure, I'm not really a lawyer, so don't quote me on this, don't use this as legal information. Somebody could cry assault and have you in a situation you don't want to be in. Secondly, again, that is not an exclusive thing. Maybe, I don't know, I wasn't there. I don't even know how old these people were. They could be old ladies. They could be young adults. They could be little kids. I don't know. You've just called them white women. They could have been sitting there planning their next move like any group of people do once they leave an area. Maybe they don't know where they are. Maybe they're trying to find directions. Maybe they're trying to find the right building. We don't know. All we know is from this credible human being is that they're white and they were all crowding the sidewalk. And instead of just moving along, walking around, you just want to push them all in the street. And yes, I will say, you saying excuse me was the right thing to do. But in their reaction of not doing anything, guess what they are? They didn't move when you said excuse me. This is not to defend them, but it's to say, hey, they didn't move, walk around. You're not less than for doing it. You're just not wanting to deal with. And that's a normal human reaction. I don't know what's so hard about this, because me saying that's the logical answer. You know what's not the logical answer? Pushing people into the street. Why would you do that? One of the white women asked, but I was too busy ignoring them and carrying on with my own life to pay them any attention, which actually should have been pretty relatable to them. They don't know you. How could you sit there and act as if they're paying attention to your life when they're probably thinking of something else as a group of people trying to make their next move? Why are you putting your hands on other people just because you're not getting some reaction that you want? Why are you justifying your bad behavior with white people don't care about people of color, so I could just mosey on about my day? Not alone I just push somebody to the ground and they're asking me why I would do such a thing. I'm just a lunatic fighting for black lives because I obviously know everything. I'm struggling right now because, again, I don't know if I mentioned it, it's 4 a.m. I'm very tired, but I'm gonna keep reading. This is why I now push every single white person walking in front of me into the street. I no longer even let them decide whether or not they're going to move for me, because I will move them for me. This is activism. No, it's not. It's you. And you know, I was going to give this a chance, and maybe I will. Maybe I'll keep reading. But this is the thing. And I hope whoever wrote this article is watching my tired face. And I want you to see, even though you will probably have the opinion otherwise, I'm black. And this is the thing. This is not activism. You look and sound like an immeasurable. You look and sound like someone who is desperate for anybody to pay attention to them. You look and sound like somebody who I talk about quite frequently. And it's the individuals who like to be heard but don't want to listen. They'll have everybody pull together and say that they are the victims of society. They are the ones who don't know anything. And you have to understand me in order for all of us to be equal. And I'm going to treat you like while I teach you these things. No. That's not how the world works. In some cases, you could just say, excuse me. And if people see you and they hear you and they don't listen to you, guess what? Just go the other way. Don't touch them. Don't give them a reason for them to call 911 or their lawyers and cry about a broken wrist. Just go with your day. It is not that serious. I get that we like to make mountains out of molehills and pretend that every small thing is some big thing that every black person suffers, but literally this is non-issue material. And the fact that this was even an article pisses me off, because why are you trying to speak to this large group of people and say, hey, this is what I'm doing to fight the patriarchy, because the patriarchy forever has done things to marginalize black people. You know what I could say right now? This is not the right type of black, and I feel offended by this. This is not the right type of black, and I feel offended by this. This is not the right type of black, and I feel offended by this. This is not the right type of black, and I'm offended by it. And I'm not the right type of black. I'm the sexiest black YouTuber, damn it. And I am here to let you know this makes no sense. Many people have told me that what I'm doing is dangerous or wrong, but I disagree. So you're acknowledging that maybe your friends, maybe some onlookers, maybe even the people you've put your hands on have said, hey, madam or sir or it or they, them, he, she, whatever the pronouns are, you putting your hands on somebody. Why would you do that? That seems dangerous. You could hurt somebody. What's wrong with you? I don't care because I'm fighting the patriarchy. I'm fighting against all the colonization going on here. You look stupid. And the fact that you even wrote this and said that you had people acknowledge that what you're doing is dangerous and stupid, you're still gonna do it because it's all about the patriarchy, isn't it, my darling? I understand that pushing white people into the street is not the most peaceful way to bring change, but it is the quickest and most effective. Let me tell you something. Let me give you like a little tip. Let me give all the children some life advice right now. Putting your hands on somebody because they didn't do what you wanted them to do is not the quickest way to achieve peace. It's the quickest way to get your handed to you, because you could keep playing Russian roulette with all these different people. Eventually, somebody's gonna be just as mad and they're going to give you your just desserts. Why? Not because you're black, not because you're white, not because you're skinny, not because you're fat, not because you're Mexican, not because of anything you got going on. It's because you put your hands on somebody. And I don't know why this is such a foreign concept. I don't know why I'm even having this conversation, but it's always necessary to just point out the small, because if you don't, it becomes the big. And more people are making this a thing of it being okay. And I'm here to let you know, cool, keep doing it if you want. When you get handed to you, don't get back on TikTok with a bloody nose and a busted lip saying, how dare this person do this to me? I didn't do them anything. Because I am going to laugh because you played wannabe big guy and you got put down like the mouse you are.
Months ago, Modern Warrior made a video talking about how he was going to try and fight systemic racism by not getting out of the way of white people on the sidewalk. Good for him. Love that idea. The same thing applies to women. So how are you fighting the patriarchy? How are you fighting the misogynistic society that we live in? And how are you practicing intersectional feminism? Taking Lance's idea, I decided to try that because I have always noticed that I will get out of the way of men as they're walking towards me on the sidewalk to let them go around. So I was in Seattle last weekend. I made an effort not to do that, and I was doing really great. But at one point, I was holding my daughter's hand. She's 3 years old, and these two white men, boys, they were like in their 20s, were coming towards us, and it was quite clear that they were just gonna run right into us until my daughter and I literally had to get in the road to get out of their way. Patriarchy.
You're white. Shut up. You are not fighting patriarchy. You are part of the patriarchy. And guess what? No matter how much you say white people are bad, you will not be invited to my barbecue, because my barbecue is full of the individuals who know how to cook, not those who know how to eat. That's why I no longer ask politely for white people to make room for me on the sidewalk, and now only move them by force instead. And that's just a little something that I like to call doing the work. And what's funny is when I go back to the title of this article, the tags that are in this are walking white people and decolonization, because of course they are. If you read this with me, or if you've seen this, or you've seen anybody talking about this on any platform, and you're gonna sit there and say, hey, that's a pretty good idea, I'm gonna go for a walk now, and if I see any of those crusty white pasty, I'm gonna push them into the street because that's what it means to say Black Lives Matter. You look like a fool. Anybody in their right mind wouldn't do this. You want to know how I know this? Let's reverse the skin colors. Let's say a white person is walking around and they see a group of black people, and instead of those black people moving when this person says, excuse me, can I get through there? And they just stand there and that white person just starts shoving them all into the street. Do you think that's going to go over well? Do you think that's going to be a pleasant reaction? Do you think those people are going to be upset? Was that? You said yes? Oh, what was that? You're saying because he's white and he has privilege and he can't do that? Whoa, wait a minute. So one can, but one can't because you're basing it all on race? Whoa, that seems a little bit stupid. How about life lesson again, children? We just all do this. Have some manners. That's it. That's really it. You have some manners. If people are not going to respect you and your manners, cool. Just move around. Don't touch nobody. Don't put your hands on nobody. Don't be violent with anybody, because if that's the avenue you want to take, cool. I'm not really going to play camp counselor and tell you no, because you're just going to have to deal with the consequences afterwards when you get. I'm not your parent. I'm not your dad. I'm not your mom. I'm not your granddaughter. I'm not the guidance counselor who gets paid to deal with you. I'm one man who has just a little bit of common sense to let you know that blindly putting your hands on somebody who doesn't do what you want them to do out in public when you're a literal stranger, that's not okay to do. So, well, leave you all with this. Have some manners. I know I just said that, but I have to instill it in your brains because for some reason, I know I'm going to get some paragraph about how, oh my God, I'm marginalized and how could you treat me in such a way? You know why? It's because I, unlike you, random person who's going to cry that I cater to white people, have basic human decency, manners, and respect to not do anything dumb like that. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all in the next one. I'm going to sleep on the floor.